Hi there, everybody. It's Anthony again, and I'm here with Kylan, and we are about to react to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 8, I, Robot, You, Jane. So we're just coming off the heels of watching Season 1, Episode 7, Angel, which was a crazy episode, all sorts of developments. So, just excited to see what's going to happen next. Based off this title, I, Robot, You, Jane, do you have anything that you're looking forward to seeing this episode that you hope happens?
I'm hoping that they somehow incorporate robots. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe some AI.
Mm-hmm.
See what their perception of AI was in the 90s.
Right, exactly. Let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 8, I, Robot, You, Jane.
Preghiamo che questo libro hai mai letto più, che il demonio Moloch mai lasciato più fuori nel mondo.
Oh, great. A book.
It's an entity. The only reality is virtual. If you're not jacked in, you're not alive.
Why is he so aggressive, though?
Seriously. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Fritz comes on a little strong, but he does have a point. You know, for the last 2 years, more
Books are dead.
Exactly.
More digitized information.
I think Willow would have made a good Cordelia.
Oh, really?
Okay.
What I was about to say. Oh my gosh.
So wait, the book was just inserted into the computer and then started controlling the computer.
Yeah, I guess like whatever entity was put in the book, when they scanned the computer, it got scanned into the computer. I mean, not when they scanned the computer, but when they scanned the book onto the computer, it got scanned into the computer, that entity. So now it's inside of the computer.
Alright, well, that's interesting.
And he's romantic, and we agree about everything. Oh, what's he look like? I don't know.
Wait, what? GPA 2.8? Damn, that's pretty low.
But
mine was pretty low.
everything else changed, though. Like her birth date and everything just changed every time that came up on the screen.
You'll die. This isn't my report. Nazi Germany was a model of a well.
That's the type of thing you gotta take literally on this show.
Put in my files.
He's probably a circus freak.
Yeah, I mean, we read about it all the time. You know, people meet on the net, they talk, they get together, have dinner, a show. Horrible axe murder.
Willow, axe murdered by a circus freak. Okay, what do we do? What are we doing? Xander, you get me started. We are totally overreacting.
So crazy that the perception of the internet was what it was back in the day.
Exactly. Like this whole thing just feels like a bunch of like paranoid people writing about their perception of how the internet works. Even though everything they said is valid, but I guess nowadays people wouldn't.
Yeah, very. I mean, we're like, I guess at this time people didn't have as much, foresight.
Yeah.
So do I. I'm telling you, something is going on.
This guy.
It's not
Really?
just Willow. Dave.
She's too close. What do I do?
Killer. What?
Party.
I do.
Do you think we should meet?
Why is she sitting reading all this out loud?
Willow?
But this dude doesn't know Buffy can really fight.
Will?
Yeah.
Taking a shower?
Get out!
She really almost
Yeah.
got electrocuted.
Okay, for those of us in our studio audience who are me, you guys are saying that Moloch is in this computer.
And in every computer connected to it by a modem.
So unplug the modem.
Okay.
Stay away from Willow. It is none of your
business.
Oh my goodness.
That's what Malcolm looks
Yeah,
like.
that was kind of tongue in cheek.
The new child.
This is very bad.
Are we overreacting? He's in a computer. What can he do?
I mean, besides
Oh my
convincing a
God.
nice kid to try and kill me? I don't know. How about mess? Oh.
Was that Dave?
Yeah, believe so.
Damn it. Well, I wasn't busy either,
He
so she's
was
not
dead,
online.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's not home.
What did you find?
We should do like
Willow
a
isn't.
tally of how many people die in this show.
How?
Oh yeah, that's a good
Well,
point. I need to go back and start
suicide.
counting everything we've already
My
seen.
friends.
I guess Fred.
The flesh.
The school doesn't have an IT person.
Then get Miss Calendar. Maybe she can help you.
Even if she could, how am I going to convince her that there's a demon on the internet?
Okay, fine. Then you can stay here and come up with a better plan. Come on.
I mean, technically, the demon's not in the internet. It's just in the local area network. Just
Yes.
unplug the modem and disconnect the computers, and
Yeah?
you'll be fine. Wait, is it connected to Willow's computer too somehow?
You have mail.
Or is it just mailing her? That guy is an issue, though, whatever his deal is.
Yeah.
Since he's-
I don't even. There's something odd about him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely there's something odd about him, considering he just, like, choked her with chloroform or something.
There's a demon in the internet.
Can't he just get, like, McCaffrey virus protection malware software?
Hank, I hope. I mean, well, this is my first real. Do you know how I got in?
Who is this lady? Because I don't really remember her from anything.
This is her first time appearing in the series.
No, okay.
But she's a, like, you know, a computer science teacher, as she just said.
So this is like the updated version of the demon.
I guess so. Did he get that weird guy to build a costume?
Like the iOS 12 version.
Right.
Back way.
Why are we bringing Xander along to anything like this? Like, what is he going to be able to contribute?
Pretending you loved me?
I do.
The villains this season are doing a terrible job picking who they come after, because they always pick Buffy's best friends.
Really.
It's her.
Yeah, who's the other guy?
Like, of course she's going to get involved now.
Right now, a man in Beijing is transferring money to a Swiss bank account for a contract on his mother's life.
Wow.
Good for him.
This guy's gone global. He's not just a land demon anymore.
Busted. It's heavy steel.
Then let's find another way in.
I guess he's transcended all of that.
Yeah.
You read, I type. Ready?
I am. By the power of the divine. By the essence of the word,
Oh my gosh.
I command you.
Doing like a digital exorcism.
Seriously.
Where's the wind coming from? The computer must really be overheating. The fans are working super hard.
He's not in the book.
Is he in like a Microsoft Word document?
Where is he?
Seriously. A USB drive.
Exactly.
I did it.
Yeah. That should be more effective than a USB drive.
Remember fun? That thing where you smile?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Now Willow's back to her old self.
Hmm.
This show is like, it's good, but it's like, it's kind of bleak at times.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of disguises itself as one of those shows that's going to be like super cliche and cheesy, but it's like really dark sometimes.
Yeah, for real.
Sean? Giant praying mantis?
That's true. Yeah,
Like, they all have terrible lives.
Face it. None of us are ever going to have a happy, normal relationship.
Like,
We're doomed.
For high schoolers at that.
exactly. Just ends with them sitting there. Yeah, like that episode was all right as an episode. Like, I mean, it definitely felt really outdated at some points, but it was really interesting as like I guess a commentary on what people's perspective of the internet and technology was back then.
At the time, yeah, it was definitely a doozy seeing how they played that up.
Yeah. It's funny how it feels like, I guess maybe it's because now at this point, so much of what we do is dictated by the internet and technology that for some reason, what they were going through this episode, it was a lot harder for me to suspend my disbelief than like when they're dealing with vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. Because it's something that kind of felt so grounded in reality that it just felt like, okay, this is just ridiculous. Like they try to move something to the trash and then somebody's face comes on the screen. Leave Will alone. I'm like, this is stupid. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, their take on AI. I mean, I guess it was an interesting take on AI still.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, I guess the entity in the book was a form of AI without really like the technology part, you know.
Yeah. It was like a old age something that became a new age form of AI, I guess.
Yeah.
And eventually turned itself into a physical being somehow.
Yeah, really. That was that was a pretty big surprise for me.
Yeah.
Seeing him all decked out in his cybertronic
Yeah.
form of himself.
Like you can definitely, even though a lot of the stuff they said was valid, like with the stuff Xander and Buffy were talking about in regards to Willow just talking to this nameless, faceless guy, you could tell like this definitely kind of came from a perspective of people being slightly, I guess ignorant to what the internet, how it really works, and then also kind of paranoid about it, because some of the stuff.
In the first, you could tell it's like the first comings of the internet, where people are still trying to like figure out how to use it, what's safe, what's not safe, who to talk to, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like Giles was kind of maybe speaking through the writers or the moral of the story or something at the end when he was talking about books being musty and having texture and the internet or computers just coming and going or whatever he was saying.
Yeah.
So this was definitely an interesting thing to look at now in 2020.
Yeah, looking back now, I mean, because feeling so far removed from it, like you said, the internet is literally like 70% of what we do, if not more than that.
Yeah. I feel like they could get away with this a lot back then too, maybe because the world wasn't as informed on the internet. I keep on forgetting that the internet even existed back in like the 90s. I've been feeling like it just started like 15 years ago or something. But I mean, I know it was still a thing back then and some people did use it, but it definitely wasn't as ubiquitous now. So I guess they could do something like this and people wouldn't, kind of call out how dumb some of the stuff that happened was as often as we did sitting here looking at it now, because it just looks so silly.
Even all that being said, I still enjoyed the episode. It was pretty funny.
I did too. I enjoyed it too. I thought it was definitely funny and entertaining. If sometimes because of how good it was, and sometimes just because of how funny it was to poke fun at the stuff that they were doing. So it was definitely a fun episode.
It's real sad just to see Willow all disappointed like that at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't feel like she deserves anything bad to happen to her, to be honest with you. She's not she doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, very true. It's like that's the plight of being a TV show character. Like they always, but especially on this show, they always just have people around them dying, having the worst things happening to them. Willow especially, given how this whole series, like, I mean, like for instance, like her liking Xander and him just clearly he knows that she likes her, because earlier in this episode he kind of alluded to it. He was mad that she was starting to like the other guy, but he said how he doesn't have feelings for her that way. So I feel like he knows she likes him and is just stringing her along for some reason, even though he can't seem to understand that Buffy doesn't like him. So
yeah, it's very ironic.
But yeah, overall, I feel like this was a pretty nice standalone Monster of the Week episode, especially after that last episode that really like advanced the overall story of the show.
Yeah, dropped the whole ball on everything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you would think that coming after that last episode, they would have you want them to come back with something that furthered that more, and if they didn't, you'd be disappointed. But this really wasn't disappointing at all. It was like they did a really good job following that up with a standalone story that really works.
I wasn't really expecting them to follow up with Angel as soon as after, especially just how the series is gone, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I mean, like, you think, like, after that episode, you're like, oh, wow, I really just want to see more of that, even though that's probably not what you're going to get, you know what I mean? But it's like, I wasn't even missing that at all while watching this episode. So, any final thoughts before I close us out?
Just looking forward to episode 9.
Me too. So that's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 1, episode 8. Leave a comment to keep the discussion going. Let's hear what you thought about this episode. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll see you all later.